What's poppin', gods and goddesses? Thank you for tuning in to House of Harlem Studio. And as per usual, I am your host, Goddess Kia, aka Kia L. And always, I got my hitter in the building, my co host, Shaka L. Bay.
Peace,
Y'all
peace.
already know we always have the lovely moderators in the room. And our other co-host, Mr. Raji. How y'all doing out there? I am missing you guys each and every day. Um, we just go on live. We have no set time at the moment, within the moment, because we're working. As y'all know, we are working. We're getting into the bag. And at some point, we will be back on regular schedule, and we will have so many other opportunities for you guys when we have, or we'll let you know when the time is right. But we have some breaking news. We have a lot to discuss, and we want to do it in a timely fashion. Um, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts because there's so much tragic is happening out there, and we definitely want to speak about that. But I hope all is well with you guys out there. I really hope that you guys are doing well. I hope everyone is getting back to the flow of things in regards to what's going on with their lives, and just keeping afloat of things. I know that I have a lot on my plate, and it just the cup keeps spilleth over. It spilleth over, but that's a blessing. That's a blessing within itself. How y'all doing out there? How you guys are doing? We definitely have some interviews with some really great people under our belt. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We want to hold on to some of this footage and some of the things that we're doing because we are going to get our production back right. Is that correct? and we're gonna get our time back right, and we're gonna be vibing. We're gonna be on some new stuff. So just stay tuned and hold tight because we still here. We ain't going nowhere. All right. We have a lot of collabs with other platforms that we'll mention to you guys when the time is right. And make sure you keep your health right. We're definitely sponsored by Carbon Juice Lounge. All right. So you definitely want to go and check us out over there. Get your juice on, get your health on, get your colon cleanse, your vitamin C's, buff your vitamin C's, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys follow Carbon Juice Lounge on TikTok and on IG mostly, and we'll be on Twitter as well. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh, another thing is Carbon Juice Lounge will be having a big, big, big. What are we having? Sunday coming up.
It's called a carbon cookout.
That sounds
Yeah, right in the epicenter of Harlem. We got a lot of good folks coming through. A lot of very, you know, positive people. We're gonna have a whole lot of positive energy. Um, People, in all different industries, entrepreneurs, artists, chefs. You know, all our kinfolk is gonna be in the building. So if you're in Harlem Sunday, pull up. You can get the information on our social media. That's Carbon Juice Lounge on IG. All the information is there. So tap in with us.
Carbon Juice.
Let's get it.
That's what's up. Said, make sure you tap in, make sure you stay locked in, and make sure um, you're always keeping update as to what we're doing. Because I definitely know you want to be a part of the 18. Ow. So, on some other news, we got a lot going on. We may mention the last time we were live that our brother Kevin Samuels had passed. There's so much information that's spiraling, so many predictions as to what's going on. His funeral was on via Zoom. There were two bloggers who did manage to go just to view the body and confirm his death. Um, a, Last I seen, there was a GoFundMe for his death. Um, I believe investigation is still being held in regards to what had actually transpired. A lot of Let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
that
Although
GoFundMe though, that GoFundMe was by somebody else trying to cake off of him. Probably one of his
okay,
haters trying to cake off of his
one of the
demise.
haters. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, there's so many perspectives in regards to philosophy, but I always stand on, death is where I cross the line at. So, we can touch on it a little bit, but once someone has ascended, we just got to let things go outside of whatever the ruling is of his death. That has to be investigated. But anything else, like, it is what it is. He should be a learning lesson for us. My philosophy on relationships, I'm going to keep it like that. Although I get frustrated with the male species every once in a while, my philosophy is a lot of these social media influencers who claim to be counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, whatever, experts in relationships, it's all a plant for us to continue to have the nuclear family divided, point blank and point period. And we need one another. We need to complement one another. And our position and our place is decided upon each individual's family and however you want to do it. None of us know what each other is actually doing within our homes, okay, and how we're doing it, and we should leave it like that. There's history. History has happened. War has happened, where a lot of our men, unfortunately, passed away or died trying to fight for the cause, which left the women to raise the children. And so much has happened in the history. But at the end of the day, we can do this all day. We can point fingers all day long. One person can say the women raised the young men, and this is why they became the way they are right now. The woman can say y'all left us and slept with the white woman, and this. We can point fingers all day throughout history. It's not going to get us anywhere. It's just not. Yes, there has to be conversations at the table, but obviously it's how you say it, and obviously you got to get to the root of things, and obviously people have to be open and transparent, and accept constructive criticism on both parties. That's just my take on it. And I pray for our people, my people within my nationality, to get ourselves together. Forget about the feminist movement, forget about the Kevin Samuels, forget about this person, and just come together as a nuclear family and just start to build and repair our wounds. And that only can be done if we can just move forward. That's all we gotta do is move forward at this point. Leave the past. We already know where we need to brush up on. We already need to know what we need. We already know what we need to correct as women and men. So it's just about time to do it. At this point, all conversations have been put on the table. So now at this point, it's just time to do. So with that being said, for out of respect for me, rest in peace. I've heard a lot about him. I'm not gonna lie. I've had my private conversations in regards to him, and I'll just leave it as that. So with that being said, there was a big shooting that happened in Texas. Let me get to it real quick. It was a mass shooting that happened in Texas. I'm gonna read the report. Or do you want to read the report? You want to pull it up? It's a devastating story. Outside of that, there was a big shooting here in New York City. An 11-year-old young woman, little girl, also passed away in the hands of another young person. So these are the discussions that I want to have. We speaking about. There's a lot of talk about gun reform and all these things in regards of having guns, and there's conversations about depression, and it's a
Now,
dialogue we need to have. But let's read the
the
articles.
funny thing about this whole situation here is they're talking now about the response time of
That's a
the
big question.
police who were being asked to go in and do what they were supposed to do, and
Well,
maybe
before
try
we
to stop what was going on. But let me
let's
get
read
to.
the
I don't want
article
to
for
go
those
too.
who might not know what the hell is going on. Before we get, let's not jump the gun before we get to that part, because that's where I want to. I heard a disturbing piece to this story, but before we can even discuss that, there may be some people who are not aware as to what has taken place and when it has taken place. So you can read
All
that.
right. It says Tuesday, May 24th, 11:32. Um,
Mm,
uh,
mm, mm.
um, Central Time.
Okay.
It says it was a mass shooting at a Texas elementary school that left at least 19 children and 2 teachers dead
Mm,
after an armed 18-year-old entered the campus, barricaded himself in a classroom, and opened fire. Um, the suspect or the suspected gunman was identified as 18-year-old Uvalde Texas um, resident Salvador Ramos. So that's who the person was.
Yeah, Salvador Ramos was
It
the
says a mass casualty incident later discovered to be the shooting takes place at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, that serves second through fourth graders, which is crazy.
babies.
The school says it has locked down because of gunshots in the area. So local police received a call about a crashed vehicle and an individual armed with a rifle making his way into the school. So people were reporting on this as he was walking in the building, according to this story.
Yeah.
Then it says, and that was 12:17. Active shooter reported. Right? Okay. Then it says the school posts messages on social media writing there's an active quote, there's an active shooter at Robb Elementary. Law enforcement is on site. Okay, so they're there already. Your cooperation is needed at this time by not visiting the campus. As soon as more information is gathered, it will be shared. The rest of the district is under a secure status. At 12:38 p.m., a reunification site is set up at the Willie DeLeon Civic Center in Uvalde, so parents can pick up their children. Okay. By 1:00, 1:06 p.m. Central Time, it says suspect is reported to be in custody. The Uvalde Police Department reports the suspect is in police custody. His body is, but I digress. 2:47 p.m. Central Time, Uvalde Memorial Hospital gives upgrade on injured children. The Uvalde Memorial Hospital posts an update on Facebook that said it had received 13 children via ambulance or buses for treatment. 2 children have been transferred to San Antonio and 1 child is pending transfer. 2 individuals arrived at UMH were deceased. No details are available. Please refrain from coming to the hospital at this time. 3 p.m. Central Time. Governor Greg Abbott, Texas Governor Greg Abbott gives press conference. So he says Texas governor identifies a suspect as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos. He says Ramos abandoned his vehicle and entered Robb Elementary School with a handgun and possibly a rifle. Abbott then confirms at least 14 children and 1 teacher were killed. He said 2 responding officers were hit by rounds but were not seriously injured. 350. It goes on and on.
Right,
and on.
right.
It
So
goes on and on.
that article I like it. It's pretty cool. It's very detailed, and a baby going in, 18 years old is not a baby. Don't get me wrong, but this person is fairly young themselves. To go in and just do this now. I don't know. They didn't mention that he first shot his grandmother. So he shot his grandmother first. He reported it. Probably made a couple of texts on Facebook or social media, his social media accounts, and DM specific people. And So my thing is, we're living. It's very interesting to me because when COVID first hit, I don't recall a lot of breaking news like this happening for 2 straight years. Um, I have a cousin who is a social worker who really fights and and is an advocate for the mental health. And I remember her stating something on Facebook that kind of reminds me of what's going on here. And she said it's just very interesting that now, and this was really for the state of New York, but I can imagine that this applies to a lot of states across the border, that a lot of mental health people are being taken out of the hospitals with no follow-ups, not given any medication because there's supposedly not enough money, and just so much more that's happening underlying. And she's been advocating for these people. And then she stated something, and a lot of these people are harmful to themselves and can be harmful to others. And it just reminds me that, watch, there's going to be a lot of bad things happening. A lot of things are going to go on. And this seems to be one of those situations with the statement that she had made. And this, according to a lot of media outlets, that, this young man had some, you know, mental situations going on, right? I can't, I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever, so I can't diagnose him. He spoke to the parents, and the parents stated that, it's not surprising. What he did, because he was very fairly quiet, a very eccentric person, a person who definitely showed that he had some issues. And within my community, having conversations with a lot of people, I'm starting to see that this is like redundant. Something is happening with the teenagers now where they're not here, they're not really connected, they're not here, they're not like physically, I'm not spiritually and mentally here on this planet, on this universe. And I'm just saying, like, what is going on? This may or may not like run ring a bell to you guys, but this brings me back to vaccines, right? Prior to the Rona vaccine that's out here and being marketed and advertised in every way, right? The regular scheduled vaccines were always in question. In fact, the CDC, within the realm of COVID, I believe in 2020 or 2021, had to change their wording or their lingo, that it went from autism. They had on the CDC website that the vaccines are not the cause of autism. They recently changed that, and you guys have to really look into that. When we're taking all of these things and we're doing so much, you never know the long term side effects, and we're starting to see a lot. I am personally starting to see a lot of teenagers that are they're not with us. They're really not with us. We're trying to figure out what's going on with them. They're not in tune. They decline. The older they get, when they start to get to 12, 13, 14, they just keep declining mentally and spiritually. They're just not connected the way they're supposed to be connected. But I'll bring it back in. I digress on that. But basically, this person is fairly young, and we just really have to ask ourselves, like, what is really going on? What would cause one to just go out and do what they're doing? Now, me looking at from the outside looking in, the parents seem to be well rounded. They were willing to talk. They were very apologetic for what was going on, and obviously they're dealing with their loss, with not only their son but the mother, right? Because he turned on the grandmother as well, and we have no idea what's going on. And the story gets even worse. One of the teachers, who claimed to have been a very loving teacher, a teacher who really loved her job, she passed, and the next day, her husband passed from a heart attack. The stories it just keeps unfolding, and it just becomes even more sad. And I definitely want to give my condolences to the families that are, that they're never going to get their babies back again. Unfortunately, they're never going to get their babies back. That one teacher, left behind, her and her husband left behind 4 children. So now they have to deal with what they have to deal with, and not just losing one parent, but 2 parents within a 24-hour or 48-hour span. It's just really heartbreaking. So I want your opinion on this gun reforms. The president, Joe Biden, stated, and he tweeted, Congress needs to pass
Nigga name might as well be Joe Budden.
universal background checks. Congress must pass universal background checks, ban assault weapons and high capacities magazines, and confirm Steve Delbatch as head of the ATF. It is time to turn this pain into action. And so, for you conspiracy theorists out there, right? Because I believe I'm one. What do y'all think about this? Do y'all think that sometimes people, they say, listen, things are planted and tragedies happen to change certain things. Now, I know that they've been fighting for guns to really be off the streets worldwide, state to state. And do you think that this could have been planned in any way, shape, or form to move forward with what they wanted to do? I do know that there's some evil people out there that would literally take the lives of even a child, unfortunately. So I really want to know your intake about that. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this story. Let me read to you what Sean King had wrote. You can't make this up. Okay. Also, there's a GoFundMe. There's a GoFundMe for the teacher on Sean King's page. Joe and Irma Garcia. All right. Wow. They've reached 1 million. Wow. They went from 248,627. Now they're at 1,000,000 and $553 and 77.80. They left 4 children. So definitely it is. They were supposedly, reports are stating that they were childhood sweethearts, and this is just unfortunate. But Texas DTP has stated that in fact, at school, police officers on campus at Robb Elementary who exchanged gunfire with the shooter, and that the officer was shot and injured, and that is when the shooter ran inside the school, barricaded himself in a class, and began killing. Okay, so that's that. So that ends all the speculations about them not doing what they were supposed to do. So there was gunfire exchange, and that's when he ran in and did what he did. Mr. Gomez, a former supervisor, said that she was one of numerous parents who began encouraging, first politely and then with more urgency, and police and other law enforcement to enter the school. And after a few minutes, she said federal marshals approached her and put her in handcuffs, telling her she was being arrested for interfering in an active investigation. Let me tell y'all, I gotta grab my heart. I have to grab my heart, because let me explain something to you guys. There's no way I'm standing in front of a school where my children is at, and I'm not trying to go in there, but I am pushing officers to go in there and get my kids, and you're gonna arrest me? You're gonna arrest me? And you're preventing me from going in there? I got a problem with that.
So it seems like that story was true.
I got a big problem with that.
lady urging them to go in there because, you know.
They were arresting and tasing parents instead of going in there and getting them kids. Now, I'm going to be fair about it. When you are faced with this as a law enforcement, it's a lot. Because you don't want the parents to go in there and make something worse than what it is. But this is an active shoot. Period. It's an active shoot. So you're supposed to be going in there. As far as what I remember hearing other officials say what the protocol is, and me being in the line of security, active shooting is what it is. And you have to think and act quickly and get the hell out of there. There ain't no scouting anything out. So I really would like to know the protocol over there in Texas when it comes to active shooting. But let's read on. Texas law enforcement officials now admit that police officers went into Robb Elementary School during the shooting to get their own kids out of the school. I kid you not. They went and got their kids, their own kids out. Then took 91 minutes to stop the shooter. So let me.
What's really good? What's really good?
You out here tasing parents, handcuffing his mother. She just want to get her babies. They eventually let her go, and yes, she went in there and climbed over a gate. This same woman who was just arrested and went and got her babies. You damn right. I get arrested 20 times over. 20. Trust me when I tell you. You mean to tell me that this is a town? Everyone knows everyone. You know, these are one of these towns where officers and, you know, they go and get their kids, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them. All that officer BS goes out the door. Trust me. When mine is in there, believe me when I tell you. Believe me when I tell you. And I got goosebumps, man. But the whole point is, you stop parents from getting theirs, and you going in there and getting yours? Where they do that at? Your professionalism,
Uvalde, Texas.
Your professionalism went right out the door. And you thought about yours, but I can't get mine? No, sir. No, sir. It doesn't go that way. It does not go that way. My question to you guys, like, you know, obviously, what do you think about that? What did you hear about it? Because I got more. It gets nasty. There was at least 40 lawmen armed to the teeth, but didn't do a damn thing until it was far too late. And the situation could have been over quick. We was a community witness at first. The community, he's saying. Okay? The father of 10-year-old shooting victim Jacqueline Jaylene Gonzalez told ABC News, police basically didn't go into the school until Jacanto threatened to rush in with parents himself. Go ahead, parents. Go ahead. They was out there. They was pushing. They was out there. Oh, y'all not going to do nothing? And they froze. And while the kids and the teachers were being slaughtered and were bleeding out, we know that the shooter was in the school for 90 minutes before he was killed. 90. Listen. What's the protocol? Let me know what the protocol is. What is the protocol? What is the protocol for an active shooting? What is it? What is it? I'm going to keep it real with you. If that was a black man, they already got their knee on his neck within 2 minutes. Let's keep it real, guys.
Did these guys?
Let's keep it 100.
They did these kids filthy.
It's wrong, guys.
They did them filthy.
It's wrong.
Why not? See, the thing about it is this.
They concentrating on parents outside.
They concentrating on everything but the shooter. If you bring the shooter down, not only do you save your children, but you also save other people's children. And that should have been the main thing.
You worried about the parents. If anything, they should have been. You should have told them, go left, go right. We go this way. Everybody up in there. Since y'all not gonna do nothing, what are y'all doing? What was y'all thinking? What was you thinking? What? This is the active shooting. Someone wrote on Facebook, and I read. Let's continue.
Oh yeah, let's
Let's
entertain.
let's entertain this.
Let's
for me.
entertain the cooning and buffooning for a second. Let's go.
A woman post was going on as you know the story's unfolding. And someone states, "Holy shit, I love to see how Facebook lawyers talk and make assumptions as if what you read on what someone wrote is reality. If you haven't done the job or what it entails, please stick to something someone knows. That if parents would have gone in, they would have been killed and they would have been more bloodshed with you simple people. Questioning the response saying, why don't the cops stop them? And before they go in, one has to know the layouts as well as one doesn't storm in until there is some type of plan to handle. Those trained experts probably would have been outside too." Okay, let's continue this conversation. Number one, the parents is on the news telling them what the fuck is going on. That's firsthand information right there. So that we're gonna nip that in the bud.
Listen, the teachers are in the school posting on social
Parents.
media, letting you know play by play what's going on.
So listen to this one. Someone said, "My
Fuck outta
dear."
here.
Someone responds to this person. She says, "My dear, we are trained." So that sounds like somebody's a law enforcement. "We are trained to immediately enter an active shooting scene and quickly engage the target." This is which her response is. "I was the first responder at an active shooter in the Bronx, okay? And I was scared as shit, but that I did my job. I don't know the police department protocol for active shooter by NYPD's, but NYPD's immediate is to stop the target." That's a law enforcement talking.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right? That's a law enforcement. She said, "Yes, but your active shooter response changes everything." Because he says one cannot just rush in without knowing as much information, right? But you know what? I responded and I nipped it all in the bud and everyone agreed. I said, these law enforcement's children were in the school. So as far as scouting anything out, they were very aware. And you have teachers who are stating what is going on. They are very aware of the layout of that situation. So much so that they went in and knew where the hell to go to get their own out. So spare me the Facebook lawyer comment, because you definitely are one. You won. Listen. What I want to know is if they dot their I's and cross their T's about this gun reform stuff, do you think that would prevent these things from happening? So my question to you guys out there.
Hell no.
Congress came in and did everything the way they say it is supposed to be. Do you think that would stop this from happening? And you say no. You say no.
Nope. That's exactly what I say, because with all of the reform that they thought they was making changes and doing things for the better, people still found a way to get their hands on firearms and things of that nature, because it really is not against the law to have one. But you gotta be a very, very sound-minded person if you want to have one, because we can see now the evidence shows that, with all of this COINTELPRO, psyops, and all of that other stuff that's
I
going
say
on,
psyop. That's my word.
then that the people are either controlled or they are really, really out of their freaking minds to do something as heinous as go into a public school with young children. Like, what is his motivation? What is this guy's motivation at the end of the day? Who can really say what this guy's motivation is? He just shot his
Something's
grandmother
going
in the
on
head.
with the kids.
He shot his grandmother in the head and then walked outside and proceeded to go do what he did. What could have been
But
his
they
motivation?
I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? We can go on and on about what's going on in the home, this and that. I know a lot of teens who are privileged, who they just they're just out of it. Who are privileged, who got everything that they can want and desire. Their parents are hardworking parents. Barely don't put a hand on them. They make they're not perfect, but what they're doing is not doesn't wouldn't be able to create what's happening in their minds. It's not that bad. It's not that severe.
Not at all.
Not at all. All right.
Now, what I would like to say, shifting gears, in case people don't know, um, uh, actor, longtime actor, very famous actor, Ray Liotta, has passed away
Mm-hmm.
at the age of 67.
Very young.
He was still young, still doing what he was supposed to do, and it's unfortunate that this guy who basically donned every role he pretty much took on in movies and television. Like the man, he's an iconic actor. So it says, Ray Liotta, the actor known for his role in Field of Dreams and Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas, has died. He was 67. Ray was working on a project in the Dominican Republic called Dangerous Waters when he passed. He passed in his sleep. He is survived by his daughter and his fiance. Born in Newark, New Jersey, Liotta was the adopted son of Alfred and Mary Liotta, who also adopted a daughter, Linda. He attended high school where he excelled in sports and went on to attend the University of Miami. He studied drama and was cast in his first play called Cabaret. Following his graduation, Liotta moved to New York, where he got work in commercials and was cast in Jerry Perini on the daytime soap opera Another World, in which he appeared from 1978 to 1981. Now, I bet a lot of y'all motherfuckers didn't know that. Another World was like the shit. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those. You had General Hospital. You had Another World.
You just telling your age. You need to just
come on. I don't even give a fuck about all that. You got One Life to Live. All My Children. Come on, anybody who's my age watched it. You know what I'm saying? When you was, when you was playing hooky from school, you watched it.
Oh, y'all
You know what I'm
telling on
saying?
each other and playing hooky and all that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm dry snitching. So
Definitely dry snitching.
the thing is, I didn't know because I wasn't playing hooky in school at
Yes,
that
you
age.
was.
No,
Yes,
I wasn't.
I'm
because
telling your parents
I
right now.
Nah, I was
Might as well
not playing
confess.
school. I was not playing hooky.
Oh, you
in
wasn't
school.
doing hooky?
No,
Oh, you
I
was a
wa-
good.
no,
You was a
I
good
was-
child.
Shit, I was too young to be playing hooky at that age. I mean, in those years, nah, it wasn't happening. So, you know, So the thing is, he he did his thing. You know, he went on to go into all different kinds of movies. Um, he played in a movie called Something Wild, Shoeless with Shoeless Joe Jackson, in Field of Dreams. Then he went on to play in Goodfellas. You know what I'm saying? And from there, we already know. So we definitely want to give our condolences to his family and everything.
We definitely
The
do.
Ray Liotta was definitely a legend
That guy.
in the industry. He was a master at his craft. I mean, if you watch the man, he pulled you into the situation with him when you was watching what he was doing.
He's going in.
So, you know,
Shout out, man. I don't know. All
shout
the
out to
legends
shout
are
out to him.
just ascending so fast. It's back to back to back to back. It just seems so unreal to me. Moving on. A girl 11 was killed on teen tried to shoot another while teen tried to shoot another. Police says these articles. So, according to the New York Times, the killing in the Bronx was a crime committed among the young. Another one. The shots that fatally struck Kiara Tay, 11, on Monday afternoon were fired by a 15-year-old boy, according to the police. Too young to even helm the motorized scooter on which he rode, and the boy was being driven by an 18-year-old who had already twice been the victim of gun violence. The intended target, see, this is why you got to your young boys be on top of them of their peers and who they're hanging out with. Be very very on top of them, because a lot of young ones or a lot of OGs, who are like gang affiliated will recruit your children, your young, especially your young boys, girls too.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
You listening to this?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Too young to even helm the motorized scooter on which he rode, and the boy was being driven by an 18-year-old who had already twice been the victim of gun violence. The intended target, who had ducked into a nearby entryway for cover, was 13? On Friday early morning hours, the 15-year-old was arrested in a hotel room. The bullets that struck Kiara, a bubbly sixth grader known as Kiki, who had been walking on Fox Street in the borough's Longwood section, and the suspect ended the life of a totally innocent, completely uninvolved 11-year-old. And the commissioner, Katak Sewell, said at a news conference where she announced that the boy would be charged with murder. I won't say she was in the wrong place, because why shouldn't a 11-year-old child be able to stand outside in broad daylight? Oh
See,
my
and
God.
that's the worst type of situations where you got people, and from what I understood, the girl was like a block and a half away. You know what I'm saying?
Her father
A block
saw
and a
her.
half away, minding your business, and all of a sudden you get hit with a stray bullet.
Her father was so hurt. His pain, like he's
Shit
so
is
hurt.
fucked up. It's
He's
fucked
so
up.
hurt. He cried. He cried. Um, he cried, and I just, there's not much you can say to a parent. You know, this young boy was, once again, not being a leader. Even an 18-year-old, young, young. Um, I wanted to play a video that I know I can't right now. I don't know their personal situations, but the nuclear family is divided. Fathers are not in the home. Is horrible. It's horrible. The statistics and studies shows clearly that the outcome of children who do not have their fathers around And it's just so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate that we still can't get our shit together. We're blaming one another, and yet you got these young men out in the street. They know what they're doing. They're conscious. But I'm using babies for lack of a better term because they're young. They're young. They're young. Well, what is the years difference between 11 and 14 and 15? 3 and 4 years difference. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. Unfortunate.
It really is. Really is. But check this out.
Really want to read it. I
We
really want to know what this
switching
is.
gears.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is actor Kevin Spacey is charged with 4 counts of sexual assault against 3 men in the UK. It says longtime actor and accused sex offender Kevin Spacey has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault against 3 men. On Thursday, Britain's Crown Prosecution Service announced the actor was charged in connection to 2 alleged incidences that took place in London in 2005 and 2 others that took place in England 2013. He's now being charged with 1 count of causing a person to engage in penetrative sexual activity without consent, along with his 4 counts of sexual assault that included 3 men. This dude is a wild boy. You know what I'm saying? He just can't help himself, it seems. And this right here too is part of the problem. You know, it to bring it back to what the goddess was saying. You know, there's a good chance that this guy Kevin Spacey didn't have his father in his house, cause he got turned out, and he turned out turning niggas out. You know what I'm saying? So this is a situation where you have to look layers beneath what you can see or what is apparent to you on the surface, and start to do a deep dive in the psyche of some of these people, whether it's this guy, whether it's the 18-year-old kid, whether it's the other guy that shot the 11-year-old girl. What is their motivation? What got them to a point where they said, I'm doing this, nobody can stop me?
What got them to that point to do something inhumane, and it's crazy.
And disregard human life at the end of the day. That's what it was. They just said, F human life, F what these people thinking, F how they feel, F what they believe in. I'm going for this.
They were young, so there's little that more of the world that they had to experience themselves, and what drove them to do this. But I don't know. I'm gonna stop and pause with this. I think that like, I don't know if we'll get flagged. Yeah, I was gonna. That's the Tucker guy. Who's that? I was gonna let them listen to this and just kind of see if this have anything to do with it. So.
Well, there are a lot of reasons that men are falling behind in this country, but a look at the numbers reveals one statistic that tracks the decline of American men almost precisely over time: the disappearance of fathers from the home. Between 1960 and 2016, the proportion of kids living with both parents decreased by almost 20%.
Did you hear that year? Okay.
Percentage of children living with only their mothers nearly tripled. In demographic terms, this is stunning. Changes to family structure this abrupt and profound typically seen in wartime. And yet, if anything...
So he said it's only seen in wartime, and that kind of happened throughout history, right?
Those numbers understate the reality of fatherlessness in America. In the high-income neighborhoods where journalists and policymakers tend to live, not a lot has changed. Most kids there still grow up with their fathers and mothers.
Did you hear what he said? Like journalists, like himself, right? The fathers are still in the homes.
But in the rest of the country, intact families are disappearing. According to a 2014 study by researchers at Johns Hopkins University, among younger parents without college degrees, 74% of mothers had at least one child outside of marriage. Out-of-wedlock births are now the rule across the country, not the exception. Increasingly, having a father at home is a sign of affluence, but it is also a cause of affluence, especially for boys. Boys who grow up with a father at home earn much more as adults. Boys who grow up alone with their mothers tend to earn less.
Did you hear that? This is something for us to really and truly evaluate and really look deep into it. Now, obviously, the numbers and the statistics change a little bit from race to race, but this is just a general John Hopkins study, 2014. Let's listen.
Also have more disciplinary problems in school. They read less and less well. They're less likely to graduate from.
They have more disciplinary problems in school. We just had a mass shooting happening. We just had another 11-year-old, right? Both males.
High school or go to college. They are more likely to be unemployed and to live in poverty. They get married less often, and when they do, they divorce more. They're more likely to be obese and to have asthma. They are far more likely to abuse alcohol and drugs, exhibit antisocial behavior, and commit acts of violence. As adults, they're twice as likely to go to prison. Now, these numbers aren't the result of one study, but of numerous large studies done over generations. The results hold true across geography and ethnic groups, white and black, urban and rural. They're always true. Boys raised without their fathers are at terrible risk. There is not much serious academic debate about that, if any. The nationwide breakup of families is a disaster, and not just a moral disaster, but a practical one. It may be the largest public health crisis that we face. So what's driving it? Well, there are many factors. Falling male wages certainly play a role. Studies show that when men make less than women in their potential dating pool, women tend to consider them less attractive marriage partners.
You heard that? Did you hear that?
Fewer men marry, more children are born out of wedlock. Some government policies also discourage marriage, particularly.
Did you hear? Now listen to this part closely. The government policies. Listen to this.
Among the poor. Women on welfare who marry often see their food and housing subsidies cut dramatically. One recent report found that almost 1/3 of Americans know someone who hasn't married for fear of losing benefits. Broader changes.
So in order to get these benefits, you cannot have a man in the home. Although there's another flip side to that my mother enlightened me on. Although in our culture, although the women, she stated that although that was the case, the women were hiding the men. They were still always there. They were always there because they needed it because the man wasn't able to get the job. They weren't giving it to them.
American culture have also had an effect on marriage and family formation. The dramatic decline in church attendance and religious observance is one of these. There are probably other reasons too. Fatherlessness is a hugely complex problem. But the point is, it is a problem, a massive one. And what is remarkable is how rarely that is acknowledged in public. When was the last time you heard a Democratic office holder decry the out-of-wedlock birth rate? If you cared about reducing poverty, you would talk about it a lot. But they don't. Why is that? Well, exit polling answers that question. Unmarried mothers are a critical part of the Democratic coalition. In 2008, Barack Obama...
Women, listen to the booby trap. Listen clearly to the booby trap. This is the booby trap right here. They need you to be separated from the man. They're going to get your votes. They're going to get your support. Mostly in every situation in life, it is mostly the women that support. But we're supporting the wrong people. We're supporting the wrong people.
The Democratic coalition. In 2008, Barack Obama won 74% of single mothers who voted. In 2012, he won 75%. Alienating these voters in any way is politically risky for Democrats, and so they ignore the problem entirely. Over time, the progressive left has become openly hostile to the institution of marriage. Once again, voting patterns explain why. It's been more than 20 years since a Democrat running for president won the majority of married women in America. Unmarried women, by contrast, vote overwhelmingly for Democrats. In 2012 and 2016, the Democratic Party platform never mentioned the importance of marriage except when advocating for gay marriage.
Where they do that at? Where they do that at? I hope y'all listening. I hope you guys are listening.
2013, as she was preparing to run for president, Hillary Clinton shot a video tribute to single mothers. Quote, "Single moms are the real heroines," she said. "They need even more of the help that grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and good friends can provide." The one group that Hillary didn't mention, biological fathers. Democrats who stray from this script tend to get attacked. Barack Obama spoke regularly and often eloquently about the importance of fatherhood, and yet, consistent with his party's orthodoxy, he said almost nothing about men marrying the mothers of their children, and that distinction is critical. Studies show that married fathers are by far most involved in their children's lives. You often hear our leaders refer to caring parents or grandparents or caregivers or some...
Of course, they're in the home.
Similar combination, as if the presence of any involved adult is enough for kids. But that's not true. At least for boys, the presence of a biological father in the house makes all the difference. On at least one occasion, Obama suggested that he understood this. In a 2003 speech about gun violence he gave in Chicago, Obama noted that, quote, "We should do more to promote marriage." Almost immediately, he was attacked from the left. An article in Ebony magazine suggested that Obama's remarks were racist. MSNBC ran an op-ed attacking him, and so on. He went back to platitudes.
He went back to platitudes. I believe I made mention of that with Trump in this slabber jabber. He had to change his lingo. He wanted hydroxychloroquine and zinc, but he kept getting attacked. And he said, slabber jabber is what you want, then slabber jabber is what you'll get. I remember very well.
Hillary Clinton was right about one thing. Being a single mother is difficult. A lot of single mothers work incredibly hard, and they ought to be admired for that. But that doesn't mean that single motherhood is a good idea for society. It's not. It's a tragedy, especially for boys. And the rest of us ought to stop lying about that. Leonardo da Vinci.
Shaka. Well, you guys, you've heard it all. We all have to do better. I'm not putting any blame on the women, but I am expecting the women to do better and not support these heathens, okay? We do not need to be supporting them. Our children need their fathers need to be involved in their lives, whether whatever with them, put them to the side, because it is very, very, very important that these young men have their fathers in their lives, and women, young girls too, not just the women. I mean, not just the males, but the females as well. It is important that these children have their fathers in their lives, period, just as much. And this system is set up to divide, even on the applications.
Yep.
I got overwhelmed with it. I got so overwhelmed. The first thing, the mother. It doesn't take from you being a matriarch. It doesn't take from you being a leader. It doesn't take from you being a mother. It doesn't take from you being a strong woman. You are who you are, and that's who you always going to be. But that does not mean that these men are not supposed to be here helping. Fuck the welfare. Okay? Fuck them. Fuck it. Fuck the Social Security. Fuck it. We are in a better position now. We know how to do business now. We know how to do drop shipping. God damn it. We know how to get business credit. We know everything. Fuck welfare. Okay?
Yeah, really is no reason why you can't go out there with your own 2 hands and 2 feet and
Make a
make some
way.
shit happen.
Make a way, make a way, make a
You
way.
can't do that.
Take all the bitterness
But
out,
that
you
you
know.
taking up some of my oxygen.
What? Make a
You need to go
way.
lay down somewhere and stay down. Lay down and stay down because you're using
Right.
up a lot of oxygen.
Yeah, make a way. And brothers, you know, listen, everything is not about a dollar. We need you to physically be there. Physically be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh physically be there, man. Be present. Just your presence alone speaks volumes without you even saying nothing. Just you just standing there on your square with your fist balled up ready to knock it out. You know what I'm saying? And it has to be appreciated and valued and vice versa. Vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We're here and we are the nuclear family and we just have to conduct ourselves. So I want to make a t-shirt and say fuck welfare. These government assistance stuff is put in place for us to keep divided. And I understand that's not the end all be all, because it's like I do get it. You know, it's like, all right, well, they're not giving him the job, and you know, we gotta the babies gotta eat. We have to be more responsible in reproducing, period. But you know, life have to go on. I do understand that. But now we're in the age of where so much a plethora of information is out here, and we just have to come together and do what we're supposed to do. Everyone knows their position within within their own homes, right? And that's the bottom line. Some people may feel more comfortable washing dishes, some may not. It's not a man or woman thing, you know. It's just about easy, making life easy, making life easy. About coming and working together. That's what teamwork is, you know. And that's just my 2 cents of it all. Fuck welfare. Fuck all these programs. Not just welfare. Let me tell you something. Don't be all bad and bougie going, I ain't on welfare, but you receiving benefits for college.
Yep.
College.
Some type of
Free
benefit.
school lunch. Okay? College. All these grants. All these things. These are all government assistance. So don't think you bad and bougie or trying to look down at somebody else. If you are dependent, Social Security, SSI, all these other things, there's still governmental stuff. We can go on and on and on and on and on. It is all a form of control. All right, even down to the 501c3. Oh yeah, I got a non-for-profit. It is all under control. Okay, so let's not be bamboozled. It all falls under that category. Section 8, PP, whatever, I don't know. All these things. Although I feel like he ain't never going to get the school up and running. I don't know if it's running. But Umar Johnson, I understood his concept of not fucking asking these people for nothing. Don't rely on these people for shit. Been cursing a lot today. It's annoying. It is annoying. It is annoying. It is nothing more beautiful than to see your child with their father. Like, you know, you it just ease your heart because you know that they're gonna hold it. That's daddy, you know, and he's gonna make sure that nobody do any harm. And you know, women, we just gotta let go. Let go. Get your nails done. Don't you wanna, you know, look cute, be pretty, do what you wanna do and not have to be stressed with all the other BS. All the other BS. There's no respect, no union, no marriage. They don't have no respect for us. I don't want to fall under that category. I've been through some stuff. I've been through some things, but I understand some things too. And I know if I'm a work in progress and I can work on myself, damn it, you can too. We all come from the same system. All from the same system. But when you know better, you got to do better. And forget those programs. All these ego tripping males too, like forget all of that. We all need each other. Point blank and period. Yes, conversations got to be had, but at the end of the day, we done had them all. We done talked till our damn tongues are blue. My iron was low. We done talked. We done had the conversations of where the women went wrong, where the men went wrong. At this point, it's just do. Just do. That's all we got now at this point. Shaka, El Bay. I don't want to say I digress because I'm still on the same damn subject, but shocker. So, with that being said, I know you guys been on listening to me rant on about all of these subject matters, and it's unfortunate that a lot of children lives are still being taken away because of negligence on and because of this system really, and because we allow this system to manipulate us, to use us, to play with us, to have ways with us, even after knowing all of our history, knowing all of the plots, the COINTELPROs, the Willie Lynches, all of these things. We have so many scholars breaking things down. Their information is now coming out. We got Noble Drew Ali, Dr. Ben, this person, that person, right? So I'ma do Diop, we got Mother Ali talking about the females and not having respect. Excuse me, name dropping. We got Dr. Claude Anderson talking about group economics and breaking that down. Rest in peace, Francis Cress Welsey. You know what I'm saying? We got Umar Johnson. Whether you like him or not, he broke some things down. He helped me significantly. I'm talking about in detail how to deal with if you choose to put your child in public school, which they shouldn't be there anyway. But even that, and I must say, he been talking about relationships, the male and female relationships, all the time, breaking it down. And the way he said it was balanced with it, and you didn't feel so, tight. And that you felt, like you got some things to work on, and we just gonna work on them as the female. He been talking about that. I used to go to his lectures all the time. In his book, it speaks about the disciplinary. Matter of fact, he even stated his suggestion. This was 10 years ago. Even if you're not with the father and you go into a meeting in regards to your child in public school, always act as if the father is present. Tell him that the father is on the road and driving, or he always present yourself as your married unit. He's been talking about that. I must say that. I was studying under him so much because I had my son. My son was 14. I was well equipped and well prepared by the time he got into the schools. I was one of those parents that was on the black book or the blacklist, and I got to give thanks to him for that information. He been talking about relationships. Matter of fact, in his book, the first thing he talked about the disciplinary of the child and what you should be doing as a parent, right? So we got a lot of work to do, but we know what to do. Conversations already been had, and now it's just about doing and owning up to you as a female, and owning up to you as a male, owning up to where you need to change, right? Change the narrative within your world and your reality, because we all have different realities here. Believe it or not, we all have different realities. And so you have to deal with yourself and your reality, like I have to deal with mine. So, with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with us. I appreciate you. Let's read here. Thank you. He's saying let's hit that right like button. Rockefeller started the women's right movement to get the women to work so that they can be taxed. That's true. Today, the women movement, 98% votes Democratic. This is true. This is true. Yes, this is very true. Prison system, aka the black codes, took us all. Mr. Kaiser, Zozie, Mr. Usual Suspects, Mr. American Beauty. What a shame. Okay. I agree. I concur. I concur. Yes. So we definitely want to give our condolences to everyone who has passed away from here to New York, over there in Texas, and to all the great legends. We have to. I give thanks to the Most High, my ancestors, for allowing us to still be here. We're witnesses of everything that's going on. Make sure you write in your book. I write every once in a while, to capture what I had seen within my eyes while I'm living, and I encourage my children to do that, right? Because we all we have different lenses, and we have different ways that we process information or that we see things. And this is a moment in time. We had a 3 year or almost 3 year run with this Rona situation. Now they got the monkeypox out now. Once again, trying to interject fear into the people. It do exist, but they're saying that it's transferring sexually amongst gay men. That reminds me of the HIV situation. I haven't really dug into that piece of information, but just be careful. Still, make sure never slip up from this day moving forward. Never slip up. Make sure that you're taking your buffered vitamin C or anything buffered. It has is not acidic. So make sure that most of your vitamins that you get, most of your supplements, your herbs, make sure that they're buffered. All right. Make sure you continue to take your zinc, your vitamin C. Drink a lot of water. Try to drink purified water, cleansed water, alkaline water. Listen, there is no if you're not making it yourself, if you're not pulling it or extracting it yourself, consider it harmful to some degree, right? But just work hard, be aggressive with making sure that you are in tip top shape when it comes to your health, because that also deals with your mental. A lot of these teens are under some spell. I'm telling you, I have some personal understandings, personal experiences. I've had conversations with a lot of parents, and the teens are really like somewhere else. And I'm looking, and it's almost like I'm expecting it. And I have a 14-year-old god, and he's okay now. But if I don't work hard to keep him focused, then it's going to be the same thing. I don't know if these games have a lot to do with it, but just as much as you don't want your children to be on the street in the corners because you feel like they can lose their lives, you also have to monitor what they're watching and limit them watching a lot. And this is why I say I don't believe in poverty. Our children need the resources like every other, group of every other nationality has, or the rich. I don't want to say nationality. I don't want to equate that. Just like the wealthy do. Our children need a lot of resources so that they don't have to be on all day doing this, but then they don't have to be outside in the wrong place at the wrong times. And when I was growing up, there were a lot of programs, a lot of free programs. They were really good. The Boys and Girls Club, City College had a lot of programs, and everything you have to pay for now. And it's not little money. It's not like it's $15 or maybe $100 for the year. I'm talking about, I paid for swimming lessons for my kids, and it was only for 30 minutes because it was during the COVID, for 30 minutes once a week. Per child, $300 for a semester, and a semester only ran for like 5 or 6 weeks, on top of me still having to pay for the membership, the yearly membership. So if I didn't save or I didn't sacrifice to keep them in those programs, I wouldn't have made it thus so far. But what happens if money runs out? What happens if those services are not here, but they're in a more rural area or the suburbs somewhere? What happens? So this is why it's important now, and I'm proud of my people. Don't get it twisted. I don't know if the news is reporting this, but there's going to have to be some research on how many black-owned businesses has opened up just within the past 2 years. It is significant. How many black people have became millionaires just within the 2 years? So don't get it twisted. We're doing a great job as far as business, I just don't see it as much as coming together as the nuclear family and really just closing the deal tight. That's the only part. It's almost like it's the battle of the sexes right now, and that's, in my opinion, that's not where we need to be. Every person is not going to cut the show, but for the most part, most of us should be doing it. We just have to have a mutual respect. A lot of the men feel like it's just heartbreaking for me. Like they just feel like they don't have no power. They don't. Their presence don't mean anything. They don't exist. I had a brother tell me just within like 5 minutes of meeting him, "Oh, the woman on top right now, they ruling everything." I don't know where that came from within his heart. I'm hearing brothers in closed forums just go in. I'm hearing women just going in. That's why I had to put the definition of psyop. I'm on Facebook, and what that really means, because to my understanding, through my lens, the way I see things right now, it's all a psyop. All these social media influencers are nothing but plants, and they're psyops to keep the nuclear family divided. The same welfare programs, the COINTEL programs, the Jim Crow laws, all of these things. And some of our greats, some of the people that we listen to and we admire, we're learning from and research, some of our ancestors, some of our people who we look up to. I'm not saying Malcolm X, I'm just using him, the Malcolms and the Martins. It's a possibility that some of them might have been plants, So it's time for us to really get ourselves together, and it's time for us to seal the deal and come together as the nuclear family. No disrespect to any other race and nationality. I love all that love me, but I don't have the right to love you if you don't love me. That's not happening. And we just have to really look at people from the positive, because it's already easy to look at somebody for negative and just look down on them. We got that down pack. So we got to start off with positive. We got to start off with that. Man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the co-host. Shout out to everyone. I appreciate you guys chiming in. Make sure you come through to the Carbon Juice Lounge this Sunday, May 29th at 2154 2nd Avenue in the east side of Harlem between 110th and 111th Street. Is going to be a big block party cookout. We're going to have all types of food out there, even vegan food for all of the vegan eaters out there. So make sure you come. We're going to have all types of drinks out there. We're going to have vendors out there. We're going to network. We're going to share and spread love. We're going to make money. We're going to have conversations that to be able to help our family and help our children most importantly, right? And we're just going to keep it moving, keep it forward. I'm so focused and I'm so tunnel vision right now. It's not even a game. I slack up here and there, but for the most part, I'm on my grind, because I am now responsible for me, as far as moving forward my future. And I want to definitely make sure that my last name is a legacy so that my children can carry on. And so that's what I'm working on, not just talking to them anymore. I don't believe in do as I say. To some extent, it's do as I do. You can't be over there smoking a cigarette like, yeah, don't smoke no cigarettes. It ain't good for you. I always use that analogy. What is the likelihood of them not smoking it because of you saying it? They see you doing it. So you got to be the leading example before anything. And that's what I give thanks to my dad about. He was an example. And whatever he did that wasn't good, he did it behind closed doors. He worked hard, very hard. He might have slipped up here and there, but for the most part, he was a good, disciplined person. And as I always say, discipline is to do what you need to do even though you don't want to do it. That's that discipline that's going to keep you aligned. And that's what marriage is all about. That discipline, that respect, right? To do what you're supposed to do. Now you're supposed to want to do it in marriage, but you understand the concept. Well, I'm out. Hello, co-host Shaka. Shocky. He left out of the room. Shock dogs. Shock dogs. It's time for us to close out.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
Oh man.
Man, I could have did you wrong.
You could have did me real dirty.
Yeah, well, I'm not. It's time to close out.
All right.
You see?
You know, yeah, you watching
House of Harlem.
House of Harlem TV on House of Harlem Studios for the goddess Kia who did not do me dirty this evening. And I appreciate that one. You know what I'm saying?
I'm working
I
with you.
am your host, Shaka L. Bay. And also, I want to say shout out to all of you that were on tonight. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all. Shout out to the co-host Waji who was in the building.
Yes.
You know, we were so kind of like into the topics and eyelids and all of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That
He's like,
you know
I
what I'm
gotta
saying?
go.
I failed to recognize my brother, but you know what I'm saying. The co-host was in the building.
Only we would get that joke. Yeah.
Shout out to the moderators, and I'm telling you, man, if she would have turned that camera towards me, I don't think I'd have been able to live it down. Y'all would have had me blackmailed already.
Oh yeah.
But shout out to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying. This Sunday we got it popping. Carbon Juice Lounge, the Carbon Cookout. You know what I'm saying. Shout out to Carbon Juice Lounge, our sponsor, and also shout out to one of our newest sponsors. We're going to turn around and leave y'all with one of their ads. So until next week, we are out of here, man. We're gone, man. We're gone. Like me, I was gone a second ago. I was gone. Peace, y'all.
Ad man walking is a very cost-efficient, effective and an unprecedented way to advertise. The Ad man walking team has years of experience with promotional activities. We are innovative, adaptive, and unique to the advertising world. Taking ads where no ad has gone before. Ad man walking. We get the word out and get your brand noticed. Taking ads where no ad has gone before.